When I turned on the surveillance again, I found that the whole street had changed. The originally peaceful and lively street became very deserted. There were all kinds of things scattered on the street, and there was also a birthday cake, but it was trampled into pieces, and the messy footprints on it showed the chaos here. The road was also extremely chaotic, with many vehicles parked sideways in the middle of the road. Other cars probably crashed into it because they couldn't avoid it in time. 1, 2, 3, and a series of car accidents occurred. According to the past, such a tragic traffic accident in this small city must have attracted many people to watch. But the strange thing is that there was no one on the street. Even the driver who had the accident was not there. Wait, what is that? The horrifying scene scared me and made me jump up from my chair. In the corner opposite the supermarket, there was a man lying on the ground covered in blood, and his life or death was uncertain, and on his body was a humanoid monster. His body shape was similar to that of a human, but he was lying on the man in an extremely weird and twisted posture, eating crazily. What kind of monster is this? I slumped in the chair. My mind was blank, and my hands and feet were cold. I didn't know what to do for a moment, and I subconsciously stared at the screen. Suddenly, the humanoid monster raised his head, and a stray cat ran past him not far away. The humanoid monster was sluggish for a while, as if thinking about something, and then stood up from the ground with only his hind legs and staggered away. My consciousness, which had originally recovered, was once again shattered. The humanoid monster was a community security guard. If it weren't for the birthmark on his right face, I would never have thought that this humanoid monster was really a human. It's only been a few hours. What happened? It's not difficult to know what happened a few hours ago. All surveillance can store videos within 48 hours, and the videos will be overwritten after 48 hours. I dragged the video record to before the incident. At this time, pedestrians came and went on the street, and women were carrying the food they had just bought to go home to cook. The little boy followed his mother, but his eyes were fixed on the cake in her hand. 2 community security guards patrolled together. A girl fell to the ground without any warning, unconscious. Several people nearby gathered around. The security guard with the birthmark called for help, and another security guard went to check on the girl. Suddenly, the girl opened her eyes and bit the security guard's neck. Everyone around was shocked. Several people who reacted quickly reached out to try to pull the two apart. The girl was very strong, and 4 or 5 people failed. She also scratched their faces and arms. Not long after, another person on the opposite side of the street crossed the road like crazy and tried to rush into the crowd. The speeding car hit him without dodge. The person who was hit hard by the car actually got up from the ground, rushed to the driver who got off the car to check the situation, and knocked him down and ate him. There were pedestrians around who wanted to pull them apart, but they were all pushed away, and their long nails scratched many people. One wave has not yet subsided. Another wave rises. The person scratched by the girl also began to mutate. Because of the angle, I saw the whole mutation process clearly. At first, the pupil suddenly shrank. The white part of the eye occupied 3/4 of the eye, and the entire eyeball protruded outward, feeling that it would fall out at any time. The blood vessels hidden under the skin bulged densely, covering the entire face. Not only on the face, but also on the body, the blood vessels bulged, and the blood flowing in the blood vessels could be vaguely seen. One of the mutants pounced on the little boy. Seeing this, the boy's mother protected the child under her body. In just one move, the clothes were torn to pieces, and deep scratches were scratched on the back. This is no longer something humans can do. One person in the crowd shouted, "Zombies, run!" The crowd dispersed, and the things in their hands were scattered all over the ground, and no one cared. People screamed, cursed, and fled everywhere, and it was like hell for a while. The fleeing people hid back home, and those who lived far away also hid in nearby shops. I don't know how long it took, but the street finally quieted down. The zombies hid in the shadows, as if nothing had happened. I sat in a chair and quickly sorted out everything that had happened. Before this, I had read many novels and movies about zombies, but they didn't stand up to scrutiny. No zombie could defeat machine guns and tanks. No matter how fearless and powerful they were, They were just piles of flesh and blood, and they were not scary. The current situation is likely to be a sudden incident, and the local government is a little panicked. It will definitely be controlled as long as it takes a while. After thinking for a while, I turned on the radio. This is what I found in the pile of daily necessities. It is probably a gift from the boss. When my father bought something, how did I know? Gift was printed on the radio box. I tuned to a few channels that I often listen to. There were bursts of noise coming from them, and I couldn't hear anything clearly, which made me more irritable. I can only use the offline surveillance and offline radio to know the situation outside. My father probably feared that someone would locate here based on my IP, so he didn't install a website for the underground space. In fact, after thinking for dozens of days, I figured out some things. There are actually many clues about what my father said, but I never noticed it. Although my father is a manager of a multinational company, his major in college is biotechnology, and he entered the Institute of Biology after graduation. When I was 7 years old, my father suddenly changed his career, despite the opposition of my family. 2 years later, my father took my mother and me to Country L, and my sister stayed in Country Z for work reasons. Every holiday, my sister would fly over to reunite with us. After my mother died in a car accident, my sister took the nearest flight to come. The three of us had a simple meal and discussed the funeral. On the way, my sister received a call and said that she had something to deal with, so she drove away and never came back. I squatted on the chair, staring blankly at the computer screen. If it weren't for the occasional wild cat running by, I would have thought that the surveillance was broken. Suddenly, I saw a crack in the door of the cake shop and a head carefully poked out.